Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Jason Lawrence here. I've had a question come up a few times in the past month or so regarding building spec homes, and then how do you scale from there? So how do you build more than one spec home basically, or you want to become a full-fledged home builder and be building multiple homes, whether that be spec homes or homes for customers. And there's advantages to each one. When you're building a home for a customer, they are going out and getting the financing. You're putting together a price based off of what they want to build. That becomes a building agreement. They go and get the construction loan, so you're not having to put any money out of pocket like you would for a spec home. You still do want to have some cash reserves for certain things that might need to be paid for before you're able to draw from that construction loan, but that's kind of a whole nother topic. With spec homes, you need to have, depending on the bank that you're working with, maybe between 10 and 25% down for whatever that total build is going to be. Or if you own the lot, that can be used as equity towards that percentage as well. But what you're going to do, you have to start with the spec home. In most cases, you're going to be, the question is, I'm going to be building a spec home. How do I scale? So if you're building a spec home, you are going to want to market that spec home as much as you possibly can while it's being built, because that's your only thing that's going on. So you want to get that in front of as many people as you possibly can, with two objectives there. The first being, you want to sell that spec home. And so if you're showing the construction process, if you're talking about it, then you may have somebody who ends up seeing it, and you may end up getting a buyer for the spec home maybe before it's even finished, which is great. The second objective is you want to attract people to kind of see what you're doing with the spec home, and get people to, if the spec home's sold, somebody comes in and says, hey, I really like this house, I like how you do things, can you do one for me? And then there you go, there's your first customer build. Or you realize that there's demand for another spec home just like that, and you can start another one. But either way, once you start the spec home, you want to put that out in front of as many people as possible. So you're going to want to start a business page. So if I try and come up with a name of what your business is going to be, and it obviously is going to relate to home building. Maybe it's your last name and then homes, or your last name and builders, whatever it is. But start a business page on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is another platform where you're going to want to put videos, even YouTube. So there's definitely different platforms. On Facebook, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be posting the progress of the home, showing photos, maybe short clip videos. Real quick, I just want to jump in and talk about my coaching/consulting program. I'll put all the details in the video description below, but I've got a few different tiers. Some of them include individual one-on-one phone calls, Zoom calls. I've got a whole bunch of different forms and checklists I use as a builder, a video library that's not on YouTube. I'll put all the info in the details below of what's going on with the build. And you can really do this every day. If you only have one house going on, now maybe some days there really isn't anything to update, but if you only have one house going on, you want to maximize that house. Even to the point where, you start to get people reaching out and asking questions, and you're responding back, hey, you know what, why don't we meet over at the house? I can walk you through, I can explain some things to you, I can kind of show you what's going to be what. And now you're kind of on that path of, if you continue to work with that person, if you continue to be there for them and guide them through the process, then they're most likely going to build a home with you or buy a home from you. So you're going to want to maximize that exposure. And so TikTok, I don't want to explain all the social media platforms, but TikTok is, short form video. So just real short little video clips. You can, write something that kind of explains what you're showing, but it's more for the visual short form video clip. If you're doing video on Facebook, then I would recommend you probably want to keep the video shorter as well on Facebook. YouTube, you don't have to shorten them. YouTube, you can kind of show and explain as much as possible. And then YouTube does also have their shorts as well, which is going to be kind of like TikTok. You're just going to be doing a short, maybe 30-second little video clip for YouTube. So those are the different platforms. And Instagram is, again, that's going to be short video clip or pictures. So those are the different areas that you can market your spec home. Now, you can also start a website, and that's a little bit tricky because you don't really have a lot of stuff to put on the website. I mean, maybe you don't even have any background in the home building industry, so you're about me. You're not even really talking about the experience that you have. You may just not really have a lot to put onto the website. I mean, you can definitely still start one, but I think your social media pages are really going to be your website. That's where you're gonna, in the future, get inquiries through there and messages through there, and that's going to be the best way to market it. Doing the website, again, I mean, you can buy your domain name so that is still available. And once you get to a point where maybe your spec home is done and completed, you can make a home plan flyer for it, so you can kind of market like, hey, this is a home that I've built before. This is one that I can offer. And if you want to go down the path of being more of a custom builder, or you're okay with making modifications on the plan, then you can state that as well. Like, this is the plan that we have here. We can work off of this plan and do variations of it, or we can build this home here. But you've now got pictures of a finished home on your website. You've got the floor plan. I do know that having a website definitely makes you more legit. So if you, somebody on social media may say, hey, do you have a website where I can look at things? So you might want to pay somebody to build a website for you. I do know that some of these different online plan websites like ePlans, Design Basics, they will allow you to purchase plans from them that you're able to use on your website. So, maybe you've got the home that you just finished that, you've got finished pictures of, you've got the floor plan for that, but you don't want to just have one home plan on your website. You want people to be able to look at a few different plans. So that's where you're going to kind of go through and, pick some different plans that you're going to want to have on your site. And depending on the type of builder that you want to be and the type of market you're going to be going after, you want to be careful with the floor plans that you're picking. You don't want to just find something that, wow, this is really, really cool, and you look at the floor plan layout of it, and it's got all kinds of foundation corners and jogs and bayouts, and it's just going to be a crazy expensive home to build. It would be better to have I would say maybe simpler floor plans on there that you can kind of work off of. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. But really, that's going to be your main thing, is that first spec home that you're building is where you're going to get your exposure from. When we first started our home building company back in 2009, I guess technically that's when we started building our first spec home. Before that home was even done, I was meeting people at the house, walking them through the house. We ended up selling the home before it was completed. But then there were people that saw that home once it was completed, before the new buyers had moved in there, and we kind of used it as a model, to show people. Now, even after the people who bought the home moved in, they were nice enough to let us show the home, which is huge. because if somebody is going to build with you and you want to kind of show them what you do, pictures are one thing, but in order for them to visualize best, it's best for them to walk through the house, so they don't really have to visualize. Most people have a hard time visualizing. So I know one of my huge sales tools right now is when I start working with somebody and they're kind of telling me what type of home that they're looking for, wanting to build. We've got 10 to 12 homes under construction at all times, plus we have a model. So something that we're building is going to meet somewhat of their criteria that they're looking for, and it is very, very helpful to be able to walk somebody through a house. I met with a couple yesterday morning, and they kind of told me what type of house they were looking for, so I picked one that we were building. We met out there, and just walking through that house and them being able to see the quality, the products that we use, the floor plan that we had, that sold them. I mean, they were just, they fell in love with the home, and that will be the turning point that really will make them commit to us. And now they're picturing things in their head. They were able to walk through that home, so now they're imagining that home for themselves and what they would do in there. And so it's such a powerful sales tool. So having a good relationship with the family or person or whoever it is that buys your spec home is really important, and hopefully they're open to allow you to bring customers through there. Now, once you have the first spec home sold, you should be starting another one. So again, now you're going to go through the whole process again. You're going to be posting pictures of the one that you finished. I would get video of it so that you've got content to put out. And then now you've got your second one under construction that you're going to be marketing off of again. And then you can meet people there, and things just start to snowball from there. And that's really how you scale, is you build that first spec home. You use that spec home as a model. I mean, you can do open houses there after it's framed up. I mean, depending on, weather and things like that. But it doesn't need to be a finished home in order for people are going to have interest. You're going to get some people that are going to stop by, and you're going to talk with them, and they're going to end up, feeling like they trust you, they like you, and then away you go. That's really all it is. And to be able to have somewhere to meet them and show them certain things, even if it's not a finished home, is still such a big sales tool for you. So, with scaling and how do you just build one spec home and grow from there, that's really what you're going to be doing. Once you sell that first spec home, you're going to be starting your second one. And again, maybe somebody ends up walking through that spec home that you just finished, or maybe you got an accepted offer on the spec home. The buyers haven't moved in yet, and somebody else wants to come and see it. Maybe you had it listed on the MLS, and a realtor calls and, hey, I've got these clients. This house would be perfect for them. And then you let them know, well, it actually sold, but I can still meet them there and, build another one for them somewhere. Maybe there's another lot in that neighborhood. So you want to use that home as much as you possibly can as a sales tool to attract clients. And really that's how you scale. I'm not really sure what other ways you can do it without, saying, okay, I'm going to put, you got a ton of money and you're just going to, I'm going to build, 2, 3, 4 spec homes at a time. I definitely wouldn't do that, especially with my first one and getting your feet wet. It's good to start with one and kind of go from there. But that's kind of how it needs to be done. That's how it happened for us. And every time we built the spec home, we ended up getting customers that we would meet there, and they would see what we did. They would like it. They would want to build a house with us. That spec home would sell. We would start another one. And that's pretty much what we've been doing. I mean, I don't know how many spec homes / model homes we've built since 2009, but it's a lot. And every time we complete one, we used to. It's a little bit different now. Now, when we build a model, we'll sell it, but the customer who's purchasing the home, they can buy it, but they have to be open to letting us rent the home back for however long we need to. Currently we have a model home. We've got, working on getting an accepted offer, but our new model isn't going to be done for, it's probably not going to be done until June, July. We're in January right now. And so the buyers are okay with the fact that they aren't able to move in right away. So we build the model. It's really good to be able to have a model and meet somebody at the model, because then that showcases your work. Now you don't have to ask permission on past homes that you've built. You don't have to as much go to homes that are under construction. You can show a finished product. That's the best thing to do. So if you can get to a point where things are going well and you can put up a model, and again, you can sell that model with an agreement to stay there until the new one gets done, then that's perfect. You get paid on the model that you built, and you get to use it as a model and market yourself. And that just makes things a whole lot easier. If somebody calls or inquires, it's so nice to just be able to, okay, we're going to meet at the model. That's just where we meet. We sit down at the kitchen table, we talk about things, we figure things out. It's such a powerful sales tool. So if you're going to be a legit builder, you definitely want to have a plan to have a model home at some point in the future. And what we've been fortunate enough to be able to do is to have a model home that we're going to plan on. We don't even really market it for sale until we're ready to, and typically we'll keep the model for 6 months to a year, and then we'll move into something else. Because as a legit custom home builder, we can't just keep the same home forever. We got to show new things, styles change, finishes change. So you got to, continuously be showing new things to attract clients and show potential clients what you can do and what you can offer them. But getting to the point where we're able to have that model and we're able to build the spec home. So the spec home, hey, somebody comes along, they want to buy that right away and move into it. Perfect. That's what the sole purpose of it is for. But we still get to keep a model home somewhere where we can meet with people and keep that presence. Like, hey, we've got a model home here. We do open houses every weekend. This is our place of business. And, people end up over the years knowing where you are, knowing that you're going to be open, and things build from there. So definitely have a long-term plan to be able to build a model. And maybe this isn't the best case scenario, but maybe you build a new home for yourself and you decide to use that as a model. I mean, you could probably get some pretty good write-offs doing it that way. You're building yourself a new home. You're also able to use it as a model. But it is tough, especially if you've got a family, to try and clean up the house every time. But you do whatever it takes. I mean, that's not really that out of the question. So that could be something that you do too. If you don't have the funds to be able to, have a model and just keep that house and make payments on it while you're not living there, and you don't have the customer base yet to basically justify doing that, you can use your house as a model. So that would be another thing that is going to, at some point, that's kind of the next level thing that will help you scale even more. So I hope that helped answer some of the questions people had about scaling and kind of growing what they're doing. If you found the video helpful, useful, give me a thumbs up, a like, post a comment. Really thank you for your time. Take care, and God bless.